Have you ever thought just how boring or ridiculous news commentary is today? Welcome to the Real Jacks Podcast with Jim and Larry. The Real Jacks Podcast. From crime and politics to entertainment, you can expect something different. Now, let's get real, Jacks.
Hey, welcome back to Real Jacks with Jim, Larry, and Crawfish. Today's special guest is former JSO officer Jared Reston, who's got a great story to tell. Don't leave, don't go away. You want to hear the story. Before we hear it, Larry has to read the sponsors.
This is the fun part. All right. Extreme Wings, my new employer. 4 convenient locations, family sports, restaurant, and grill, more than just wings. Tremendous Barbecue, open since 2007, 8927 Hurlong Road, open 11 to 8 Tuesday through Saturday, and Sunday 11 to 3. Full barbecue menu, everything homemade. They cater anything. They love first responders. Advanced Window Tip, my buddy Ricky Tillman owns 5024 Sunbeam Road, over 26 years experience here in Jacksonville. 3M Platinum dealer, highest level of 3M dealer around. They tip vehicles, homes, and businesses. Secure One Protection Services, Jim's company.
Your number one choice for protection since 1986, 356-1111.
Dibble Roofing since 1949. You can call Norm Brewer at 904-910-5728 or email Norm at norm.dibbleroofing@gmail.com. D-Way Towing, Doug Dixon's company, our buddy. 100
Thank
South
you.
Jackson Avenue. Phone number is 356-3929. Shannon Judge with Legends of Real Estate. Shannon Judge Real Estate at gmail.com. Her number is 904-200-8158. My buddy Mike Kellum, Bouncer Roof Fund, former JSO and friend. Their company served North Florida for over 15 years and over 10,000 parties. Bouncer Roof offers a large selection of inflatable hoppers, water slides, interactive games, concessions, and frozen drinks. They offer large event tents, tables, and chairs, and always discounts to first responders. If you rent on the weekend, you keep the equipment the whole weekend.
Some great companies there. We appreciate their sponsorship. So, Jared, last time I saw you didn't have a beard. Looks good.
Yeah, thanks.
He's had that a while, though.
Yeah, I've had it a while.
It's been a while. That's how long it's been since I've seen you.
Yeah.
I've seen it a few times. So tell us, and you know more about me than probably a lot of people in this room, and we won't talk about it.
We're not going to talk about that on that.
None of that.
Yeah.
But I've known Jared a long time, and when he gets into a story, I was with Claude that night. They got a call from Rodney. So
Oh, really? Yeah.
They got a call from your brother. So I was sitting in a restaurant with him at that time. I think his ex-wife Teresa was there. Actually, I think it was at Rue Chris in Ponte Vedra. I think that's where we were sitting that night.
Yeah.
That call happened. But just kind of give us a background, how you got started and then where you ended up.
All right. Jared Reston. I started my law enforcement career in 2000 with JSO, started in the courthouse and then went to patrol. Worked on some task force, made SWAT in 2004, was on the SWAT team the entire time until I just retired last year. So I did 20 years, 17 years on the team. And that's kind of where I was, with my whole police career. Most of it was on the SWAT team, just doing SWAT stuff. Yeah. So kind of what I guess I'm known for or whatever is I was involved in an incident back in 2008 where I was shot 7 times and I was able to kill the suspect who after he shot me. So that was a pretty good one. It was kind of started crazy because it was just an off-duty job working at Regency Square Mall, and it started from stopping a shoplifter to now having to kill someone who was trying to kill me. So it kind of jumped pretty damn quick. And
Jared, this guy had no criminal background. 19 years old, right?
He's 18. He had a minor criminal background.
But he wasn't a thug or wasn't a gangbanger.
I'm going to say he was a thug, but
well, he's carrying a 45. He's trying to be a thug.
I mean, what he was caught for doesn't mean exactly what he's done. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know where that was a stolen gun. There was a lot of things involved in carrying that gun that who knows what he was involved in before, just not caught.
But he's not that typical guy you'd expect to have a face-to-face shootout with.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody knows, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is it's not that particular response to that crime is not something that you would think.
All right.
So that's the whole deal about dealing with traffic stops or misdemeanor crimes. Who are you dealing with? You know what I mean? Like that's the deal. Like Ted Bundy was stopped for a taillight. You know what I mean? Like you don't know who you're dealing with when you're stopping people.
That's right.
So that's why officer safety and these things exist, and people outside of the law enforcement community, they don't really get it. Why would they be like this? Why? Because it's nothing to them. It's speeding to them, but it could be you were a serial killer 2 hours before it or whatever you were. I mean, this was a shoplifter, but I mean, most shoplifters don't carry pistols on them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those deals. You don't ever know. Just because they also commit big crimes doesn't mean they only limit themselves to big crimes. They're just dirtbags. Dirtbags do dirtbag things, and stealing's one of a dirtbag quality.
And probably one of the worst ones, because I think a thief, if you'll steal, you'll pretty much do anything.
Yeah, take other people's stuff. All right, so for some reason I thought that the story I got years ago that he wasn't like this big criminal type. Just some high school kid or somebody just out of high school that didn't have a big record.
He doesn't have a big record, and I don't think he was that bad. His mother's a banker, his father's prior law enforcement. But I got a letter from supposedly his mother. I don't know, but it was addressed to the sheriff. Like this, it was when I was recovering, and they said, "Hey, we lost him. Like he wanted to live that life. He wasn't raised that way, but even good people, good parents lose their kids sometimes when they just they make their own way. They want to make their own path, and the path he chose put him in the ground. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean,
that's simple.
Yeah, your decisions have consequences, and he wasn't raised like that, but he chose to be like that. So I wouldn't call him not a thug. Gotcha. Like I don't ever get into like the wannabe gangsters and the wannabe whatever. If you want to be, you pretty much are. So everybody's a wannabe until you do something.
He might have just had that criminal mindset then.
Yeah. So that was his thing, and I just think
he picked the wrong guy.
Yeah, and I think he may have fixed his life if this didn't happen to him, but it did, and that's just the way it goes.
It fixed.
It's fixed. It's got I mean, but he may have hurt somebody else. Yeah. I mean, I'm super glad it happened to me and not anybody else because I was able to deal with it.
So were you working off duty or were you on duty over at Regency?
Yeah, no, I was off duty.
You were off duty.
Yeah, so I was working off duty, but full uniform.
Right.
Like, doing the off duty details for, extra money. And we were notified from Belks about a shoplifter, 2 shoplifters, but me and my partner were in the mall security office. So we were on the north side of the mall. They were exiting on the south side of the mall, like towards Arlington Expressway. So we weren't going to make it there. So we just told mall security, hey, bring it up on camera. We'll watch it, make sure everything goes. And you watch the 2 suspects exit the store. Loss prevention comes out right behind them, identifies themselves as loss prevention. And the white suspect began to fight like immediately. So I was on the phone with my wife at the time. I hung up with my wife. Me and my partner got out there. By the time we got there, the fight was over and they had him in custody. And they were like kind of dusting him off and dusting themselves off, trying to, everything all right. We just came up like, hey, everything good now? So we'll start doing the paperwork side of things. And they said, yeah, but the black male also stole something. We would like him apprehended. And about, at Regency Square Mall, there's the, Belks, big parking lot, then the bus stop that's right there on Arlington Expressway. So he was in that bus stop area, but he kind of separated himself from the crowd just so he could see what was happening with his buddies. They pointed him out. He saw us see him. We had that little aha moment. He took off running. Me and my partner took off after him. So he had about a 75-yard head start on us. But we had to make it across. We all had to make it across Arlington Expressway about 7:40 at night. So it was a little bit of a Frogger game to get across there. And then he ran towards the shopping center and got caught and had to run across like the front sidewalk. We were just cutting through the parking lot. And before he made it to the corner there, like on Atlantic, I saw his legs wobble and like he kind of just jumped. I was like, oh, I got this guy. This is easy.
He's gassing out.
Yeah, he's gassing out. I got him. So I turned to my partner. We were still together at this time. I said, hey, man, I'm going to speed up and go get him. So I picked it up and went and got him. When I got to the corner, I drew my taser because at that time I only had possible, resisting and possible retail theft.
No misdemeanors,
Yeah, so I just pulled my taser on him and said, hey, man, stop or I'm going to tase you. He turns around and looks at me, puts his hands up, but he never says anything. He just keeps stepping back. And I'm like, hey, man, stop. Hey, man, stop. And he doesn't, and he turns around and takes off running again. So I give him some more commands to stop, or I was going to tase him. Finally, I had enough of it, so I put the taser laser sight on his back, squeeze the trigger, and nothing happens. Not a pop, not a discharge of any type of the probes or anything. So I look down at the taser. My LED readout on the back is just counting down, like it's running through its taser cycle, but it didn't work. So at that point, I'm like really close to him, so I had to safe that, holster it, and then go hands-on with him. Went hands-on with him for a very short amount of time, and then I felt like a heavy impact to my face. I thought he punched me with a good punch. And we were kind of like on the top of the bank of a retention pond. It's about 4 feet deep, like a 25-yard circumference, but it was dry. It's just like it only has water in it when it's raining. And I started rolling down that, and I'm like telling myself, all right, get up, Jared. Like, he hit you with a good punch. Like, get up, man. And then I kind of feel with my tongue before I come to rest, and my jaw is now like collapsed on top of itself, and my bottom jaw is collapsed, and my teeth are laying like flat in my mouth. And I was like, this isn't a punch. And that's when I looked up and I saw him shooting me. And I was like, all right, I got something for you, you know? So I drew my pistol and we started to engage at each other. And he started kind of, like as he was shooting me, he walked away, and then he started closing the gap back at me. And then when he got close enough to me, I was already on my knees. I like kind of lunged up, grabbed him, pulled him to me, kind of like a belly to back type scenario. When we went to the ground, then I put my muzzle to his head and I gave him 3 contact shots to his head.
Drilled him down.
Yeah. Putting that fight over with.
Mm-hmm. So that punch you thought you felt was a bullet to your chin.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, it was 45
It's
caliber.
a 45.
Yeah, hit me dead center of my chin.
Wow.
Exited out my neck.
Wow, but it didn't knock you off your feet.
Well, I mean, it didn't knock. That didn't knock me off my feet. It started me to roll down that embankment, but it wasn't like a huge. It was just I think we were just on an angle. Like I just think anything would have probably knocked me off.
Sure.
So just the whipping kind of did it. Yeah.
First place, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you were hit where else?
I took 3 to my chest, like 3 across my body armor. 1 in just above my left knee, exited out high on my left thigh. 1 on my right buttock, which went and broke my hip and lodged there, and then like a graze on my right elbow. So I took a total of 7.
The butt. I heard the butt hurt the worst.
Oh yeah, it hurt.
It was the most painful.
Oh yeah, it hurt. It's not something bit me. Something got you.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
A lot of nerves back there.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Just-
That was the worst out of all of them?
I think. Well, pain wise, yes. Surgery wise and fixing wise, the face was. But yeah, because once you take a bone hit, it's just. It just takes a long time to fix.
I heard that, by the way. One of my best friends is Russ Johnson.
Yeah.
So y'all were on the team together.
Yeah.
And he told me to tell you hello today.
Okay.
So said to call him. but he said I remember him telling me, he said, man, the butt shot, the shot in the butt was the most painful.
Oh, it hurt. I mean that
You know?
so. Getting shot doesn't hurt. Like I'll tell you, like it didn't hurt that bad at all. Like I was able to. It hurt 30 seconds later. Like when I was laying there. But, even when they put me on the rescue wagon, the only thing that hurt was like my butt. Like they're like, Jared, where you hit? And I was like, I don't know. But I do know my butt. I know I'm hit there.
Bad boys too.
I
smell it.
Yeah. So,
oh man,
and it was crucial.
Man. So if that taser had deployed properly, it might have been a whole different day.
Should have been a whole different day.
Because you were close enough to get the.
Oh yeah,
get him and get both probes on him and everything, and that could have just shut it down.
What was wrong with it?
Yeah,
and just it's an Xbox controller. They're a good plan C.
Yeah,
that's true.
So
that's true. What a damn.
Wow.
So how many? And you obviously got hit. It came out here. You're lucky it didn't hit anything here.
Oh yeah. So I was blessed throughout the whole thing. First, the luck of it really not put me out on the impact, but it was like millimeters away from my femoral, millimeters away from my carotid.
Divine intervention.
Yeah.
Again,
just it is what it is.
We've been hearing a lot of that lately. It just wasn't your time,
right? Yeah.
So how what happened after that? What was the aftermath? As you had to get
multiple surgeries. Out of work for 6 months. Got back to work in like almost exactly 6 months, which was good. I was I feel like I can't believe you went back to work. I was like, that was never a question of if I was going back. It was just when I was able to get back. But I got back 6 months, and then I'd have to do another surgery, and I'd be out for another 6 to 8 weeks. So altogether, I was probably out the rest. It probably took 6-7 years for it to be done, I guess, and that was probably roughly I was out maybe a year probably.
Yeah.
Altogether. So
You have no ill effects from any of the surgeries now, or is stuff still
yeah, I mean, like I don't have any feeling in my face, and like I mean, nerve damage is done.
Yeah.
And from my hips get jacked up for when the bullet hit, and so I just got to get aligned every once in a while. But you know, it's nothing to complain about. There's worse off than me.
Oh yeah,
So.
And you could have been worse off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Complain about a little hip pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. That says a lot about you know, and talking to other people, and Pete being on here. A lot of people don't realize they watch TV and they look at the things and you know getting struck with rounds, and it doesn't necessarily end a fight.
No.
And
The human body is actually super unimpressed with bullets.
yeah, and very very efficient in putting blood in other places to be able to address that and obviously push through that. So, talk about, have you done? So you did 6 years after that. How long? That was in 07, right?
08.
08.
Yep.
So you were here 12 years after that before you.
Yep.
Till 20, right?
Yep.
You retired in 20. That led you to start another career, right?
Oh yeah. So probably in 2010, I started getting requests to go around the country and like just debrief my incident and speak it to other agencies and different police groups. So I started doing that, and quickly into doing that, I kind of realized like I lived in like a JSO bubble, and how much training and how much good training we actually got and received, and where we were way ahead of like several other agencies in the country and other cops that just didn't get the training that I was able to get. So I started my own training company, trying to get out there just to train cops on what's good stuff, like what's going to work and like what's going to get you through these fights. Yeah. So for the past, 10, 12 years, we've had Reston group training, and it's become one of the best sought after training groups in the country. So
what all do you teach?
Firearms to military and law enforcement groups, but also every pretty much, if it's an open enrollment class, any civilian that can carry a gun is
cool. So it's not limited to just law enforcement.
No,
good.
No. Cool. So all civilians. My tactics classes are mostly, we will do some kind of house clearing and house prep classes that we let civilians into, but most tactics classes are just purely law enforcement or military groups. So
is it just you, or how many people?
I got about 3 or 4 adjuncts that we use. We just kind of threw out whatever skill we're teaching, because I mean it goes from pistols all the way up to sniper rifles and all that. So I use different adjuncts and different instructors.
ASO folks or
Mike Hyde used to do it with me. Nick Rogers does it with me. Just bringing guys that I know that believe and have the pedigree that
and you've worked with, so you guys work well together.
Yeah, and I also use some military guys.
You do anything locally? You do any of the classes locally?
We do about 4 classes locally a year. I only have 1 on the schedule now, just because actually like Northeast Florida is actually a pretty good training. So like a training center like there, we have a lot of good instructors that come in here, and we're actually pretty good for, like, all the trainers pretty much hang out. We're all pretty good friends. So I try, if they have a class, I'm not going to try to poach off their class and just be local, or, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of, we just all split it up, and because we all go after the same probably 15,000 people who train in the United States. We're all after the same people. And like most classes that I go to, if it's not their first class, then they've trained with some of my buddies or whatever. And like it's all cyclical, and we just all kind of support each other. And there's a lot of terrible training out there, but then there's a lot of good training. So
then you probably go a lot of other places too, like you said, where there's probably training deserts where, training in North Florida, but there's probably a lot of places that don't have that access.
No, they don't.
So and that's important for you to get down there to them and or wherever they're at.
Yeah. So like I'm mostly all over the country, 3 times a month, probably easily.
You do a PMO class?
What's that?
Pistol mounted optic or this?
The RDSs. Yeah, we do those. Yeah.
Often?
But, but like, so everyone wants to talk about like the the pistol optics courses, I run one. That's one class I always do local because I kind of built it around the sheriff's office policy.
Yeah.
So it has to be 16 hours. So instead of doing 2 days, which costs them double the amount, I do one 16-hour day, and we're going to get after it in one day.
Yeah.
Just to save them money and just, shit, if I'm already on the range, I might as well just work all day, because there has to be a night shoot anyway. So I'm like, let's just work. I'm already there. Let's keep going. So we do that, but for me, it used to be like very rarely you'd have a red dot pistol in your class. Now it's the majority. Now it's like probably 75% of the class has it. So I just have a pistol class. It's kind of like, everyone likes to say like, oh, it's a red dot pistol course. Well, we don't have red dot rifle courses. It's just
a rifle course.
It's just a rifle course. So whatever sighting system you bring to one of my courses, we'll have a POI to fix you. So we're good to go.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. I want to get one. I don't need it anymore, but I bought one, and I did work the range. I was the line officer, just to be able to have some training and do the extra stuff out there, which a lot of people and lieutenants and stuff that I never got into, but I always did. So I tried to work a lot of that, and then I went to one of Brandon Wright's classes.
Yep.
He's pretty good, at least intermediate.
Brandon's great, dude. Brandon's good, too.
Yeah, he's very skilled. But I want to get a PMO class, but I don't get up early, Jared. I don't know but I can't. And you're all the way in St. Augustine or something, aren't you?
Yeah. I mostly train in St. Augustine just to kind of.
I need something in Baldwin. That's what there's
a training desert for you right there.
119's got a new range. I'm going to check it out. It's not a new range. It's been there a while, and I think it's kind of a private range, but I'm going to check that out. And I have been out there to St. Augustine. Is that the same? There's a couple of them in St. Augustine, right? Yeah,
there's the FOP range, and I normally train at Ancient City out there. Ancient City, Chuck has a good range and keeps it.
Is that the one Brandon was?
I'm sure. I'm sure. We all pretty much everybody trains at Ancient City.
Yeah.
Jared, you got any of the larger agencies here looking at you for like in-service training or any specialized training for their people, like St. Johns County or Clay
I do a lot
or JSO?
I do a lot of training for St. Johns County. I don't really do training with JSO just because I've always trained them for I was a lead firearms and senior CB instructor for the SWAT, so we always just train together, and they're still good to me if I wanted to be like, hey, can I go back and can we go come to training? They're like, yeah, come to training.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, so I train. Just got back training NYPD ESU. Just I do NYPD's counterterrorism unit. I do. I mean, a lot of you name them, I've trained them.
Yeah, we were just talking about NYPD. The ESU is basically their SWAT, right?
Yeah, there's
emergency services unit.
Yes, they're emergency services unit. They're one of a kind. They they work traffic crashes too. They do a lot. Like they get at
the guys that work for me. Rudy Bueno was ESU before he came down to Jacksonville.
Yeah, so I mean they do. So they go from like SWAT stuff, but then they'll be doing jaws of life on people, cutting out of vehicles and they don't really work the traffic crash, but they'll do the extra, getting people out and everything like that.
Yeah, don't they drive like it looks like a fire truck or something?
Yeah,
the roll-up doors. Like a big ambulance with the.
Yeah, so like that. Their units are called like trucks, like truck 4 or truck.
Gotcha.
You how many classes you do a year?
I'm running probably 30 to 40 to 50 classes a year, probably, depending on what it does.
What's that? They go from one day up to a full week, or how?
Yeah, up one day up to 5 days.
Okay, that's a lot of classes.
Yeah,
stay pretty busy. That's why you retired, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it's busy.
Yeah.
So
that's good for you.
Yeah,
good.
I enjoy it.
How long are you gonna do it? Just till you can't?
Till I can't, or I lose relevance. I don't want to be some old guy putting out some old information.
Yeah.
Like I just want to keep dudes doing good stuff.
Alive and
good dudes hurting bad people.
Yeah,
so kind of the cool thing.
So where does Reston go for training?
Well, I mean, I just train with a lot of my friends. Chuck Pressburg from Press Check Consulting. Northern Red, I really enjoy hanging out with them. Ridgeline Training, I hang out with those guys a lot. Bill Blowers from Tap Rack Tactical on the West Coast. Scott Jelinski from Modern Samurai. I mean, that's the thing is I don't get to train as much anymore. Now it's like we were talking about that the other day. I was teaching a class and they're like, how often do you train, Jared? And I was like, or how often do you shoot? And I'm like, when I'm at a class teaching, like I don't get to shoot. I was like, can you imagine if I get to train how good I could be? But I just don't ever get to. Like even on the SWAT team, like I was always running a line or doing
It's like
something.
getting to black belt level or up there, and then you end up being the instructor, and it's like you hardly ever get a chance to train or keep staying current or learning new stuff.
Right.
Because you're so busy teaching stuff. So
yeah, but I mean, really, there is no technically new stuff. I mean, everything's. We were at war for over 10 years. We're pretty good at it. Like they've through the military and law enforcement, we've been doing it long enough. We've figured out what works and what doesn't. Yeah. And people try to make up new stuff, but it's all theory based and whatever you want. Like,
or just a different twist on something that's already been done.
Yeah, but it's a twist just to make them stand out and be. Right. And it's garbage. Like if you ever go to an instructor who's teaching something way outside the norm.
You see those videos.
He made it up.
Right. Things. He made it up because he's trying to create his own thing so people get
and it's all theory based and it's nothing that they learned. And you might go to another country and hey, this guy taught me this, even like the Israelis or whatever. I mean, they're good fighters and but they're not American. They weren't at war. Like steadily getting it on. They're protecting their stuff, but they can do different things. I mean, when it comes to gunfighting, Americans got that. They got it down. They got that down. We're pretty good at it.
We're doing that for a couple hundred years.
Yeah,
we're pretty good at it. We've done it a while.
And we've got the equipment. The right equipment. All the good stuff. Pretty much.
So how do you have a website?
Oh yeah, RestonGroupTraining.com. Okay. And on all social medias, Reston Group. Just look it up. And we're there.
Yeah, I peeked some of it. And of course, Crawfish is pulling it up now.
Do you want to talk about what your classes cost? And I mean, it's a good time to give yourself a plug here. And
cost is they're actually pretty reasonable for. They'll probably go up here middle of next year or something. But normally a 2-day class runs about $450 a class, and then you got to supply your own ammo. Up to 5 days or around 1,000, 1,200.
So that's a number I had rolling around in my head.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, someone that might want to take the class, like it'd be worth $300, $400, $500 to do.
Yeah. So like the going rate is pretty much right around $550. So it'll probably be moving up. I haven't changed my rates in a long time.
Where is the class held at?
There's inflation going on.
Yeah.
That's right.
And it's like 6.8%.
Hey, the hard
that's what they're saying.
The hard part is getting the ammo.
Yeah. Ammo's coming back available. Yeah, so this year was kind of bad for
nine for everyone to find 9. Yeah, 9 was bad for a long time.
Yeah. So open enrollments kind of suffered this year, but government contracts kind of picked up like classes and so that worked out really well. Like I said, it's just pretty much I have gun, we'll travel. We go wherever we get hosted at.
So where locally, where would you be having your class at?
What? Ancient City.
Oh, at Ancient. Oh, so it would be down there.
Yeah.
You go down to St. Augustine at Chuck's place.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. That's not bad.
No.
I live halfway there anyway. So
yeah. So
I'm right on the St. John's line, Duval St. John's line.
Stay out there.
Yeah, now he'd have to.
It's a beautiful place to stay. It's St. Augustine, God's country.
He'd have to fly down there.
It is a nice place out there. Pull that list down again. Courses: concealed carry deployment. Practical RDS pistol, 2-day rifle, 2-day pistol. 2-day performance gunfighting, Module 1 and Module 2.
Yeah.
5-day performance gunfighting. Is that rifle and pistol?
Yeah. So performance gunfightings are all pistol rifle. Yeah.
2-day room clearing. Sorry, exchange a sniper. You teach us. You were a sniper on the team.
Yeah, I was on my last probably 5 years on the team. I was a sniper.
2-officer response to active shooter, which is a lot of and kind of important to know. And JSO's got some pretty good active shooter classes, but I think that's just something that they should, especially knowing that active shooter, they say even one. You don't have to wait. We don't wait on the team anymore.
Right.
This is a 2-day. This is 2-officer response. That's obviously move to the stop the killing and stop.
If you're the only guy, you're going in.
Yeah.
But 2-person, y'all do a specific one for 2-person, huh?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's good.
Most calls are 2 officers showing up anyway.
Yeah, just how to cover more angles and work as a group.
So if I open those up, separate from here, I can kind of get a syllabus or see what the.
So like you select it, it'll tell you what it's going to do, what you need, and all equipment and all that.
Good looking website.
Yeah, it looks good. That's very nice. Well, I guess 20 years was good. You didn't need the drop. You did this, and you're good.
Yeah.
I was about to say, you just stopped at 20 and didn't do that last 5? And,
No, so I also work for Safariland, so I'm an account manager for Safariland. So kind of in the sales side of body armor and all-duty gear and things like that. So
I guess you just you did the math.
I'm gonna have to get.
Yeah.
You're like, I can stay.
holster.
I can stay here working there for 5 more years, or I could go ahead and cut that off. And
yeah, and I think it was a
That
good
part of
time
the retirement.
I think it was a good time for a Jared Reston type person to leave law enforcement. So
I understand.
We understand.
But a lot of people, things have changed so much.
Somebody, if I could go back, if I was 20 years younger, and they said, "Hey, would you do this again now?" I'd be go, "No,
yeah, I don't. I mean,
not now."
Well, I can't do
Very
it now,
very
but like that's what everyone says. Like I don't know how the younger generation's getting into it, but I heard the same shit when I was getting on. I don't know how you're going to be the police. Like now, we used to, because they're used to it. This is all they know.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know body cameras. I didn't know that's how. It's not the younger guys that are getting caught up with it because that's the life that
That's all they know.
That's
Right.
all they know.
It's like growing up in the computer age.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
That's all
I don't
you
know
know.
how y'all do this. Well, it's because that's their life, and I'm glad that there's someone taking my spot and still doing it. So
Yeah, I left in 16. I came on pretty close to when you did.
Yeah.
04.
yeah,
And it was changing. I saw a lot of things changing. The biggest thing I saw changing was people didn't like the police like they used to. You go into a restaurant and it was just wasn't friendly as it used to be.
well, I mean,
It was because of the news media. That's when things started changing in the news media, and the police were really taking a beating in the media.
yeah, I mean, we've been taking a beating, but the whole thing is there's still so many people, especially like in Jacksonville and like there's people who love us. They're just not. They're
South,
not
yeah.
loud. They're not.
They're very quiet.
And that's the thing is they're not gonna say, hey, but so many times when people saw me in uniform or whatever, hey, your tab has already been paid. Like there's great people
Right.
So Jacksonville's a violent city but we're in a law abiding, like you're not gonna get riot. Like you know what I mean?
No.
Like you're not gonna have they shot somebody, okay, well what did he do? He had a gun? Well, we shoot people here if you have guns.
Yeah,
we have an understanding community that just don't break the law, or if there is, we understand that there's consequences to what you do. That's just kind of the deal now. I think with law enforcement is people they haven't had consequences. They haven't we don't get some of the stuff where people are like walking up and slapping police officers in the face.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna happen with JSO. I'll tell you. I mean, we have a great culture.
pouring water on them.
North Florida, period. Probably.
Yeah, probably Florida.
Right.
Like we have a great culture.
Yeah.
Of being the police. We are the police. We're not. We have people that are your friends and all that, but we also have hitters. Like you want to come here and you want to race hell in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah, that's
Good luck with that.
Good luck.
Civil
Good luck.
unrest. Big civil unrest lasted about 2 hours before they got there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when
Like
they went
this-
up there and
this-
when they blocked the bridge or whatever, that didn't last very long.
No, it doesn't last very long at all because they're like, they're not playing around. And
Jimmy Judge went out there and
Field
had
Force
lobby
shows up.
gas inside of 15 minutes. So,
then, but that was the good for it because then we had probably 10 to 12. I guess it's not I guess it is a protest. After that, with not one single incident.
Right.
Because there's our people that were there just to start problems.
Correct.
And they got handled, but everybody else was just like, hey, we do want to protest. We want to see, and they have every right to protest. And so, JSO gave them every right to do it peacefully, and they did it peacefully. Like they didn't step off the sidewalk. Like, you know what I mean? They didn't, they did it how it was supposed to be.
Right. Within the law.
Yeah. And it was a good time.
I think most of your southern states are still like that.
Yeah.
Southern states, keywords.
Yeah. I mean,
Go out west, go up north, go out west, far out west. It's like,
but man, it's like I teach several classes in California, and people are like, "How do you even go out to California and teach guns and do all this?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I've been to California several times, and I've never met a Californian, a stereotypical Californian, because I don't go into the big cities. You know, I'm outside. I mean, I'm teaching in a LA area, and those people are from LA, but they're not."
They say you get 15 minutes outside of LA, you see Trumps and four-wheel drives,
Oh, yeah.
and country boys. And it's nothing like
Really?
you think. Yeah.
It's like Orange County, California. I mean, it's like you're just like this. If the politics are kind of crazy in California, but the weather, the scene. I mean, California's I love California.
I love California too.
And like But I mean, I wouldn't pay to live there, like with taxes and all the craziness that they have. But I mean, but they have really good people out there. I mean, like, you know, I teach out just outside Seattle, and there's good people all
that's
around.
one that you would instantly think is not going to be pro police when you say Seattle,
but they are
just because,
and they're pro gun. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Seattle's kind of Washington's kind of a weird state. They're more of, they're kind of liberal, but they're more kind of libertarian. Yeah. Like, just leave me alone.
It's okay with me. Like, hey, that's the way it should be.
Like, you know, with that's kind of how they are with like the drug use there. Yeah, it's super liberal and it's gross and it makes me angry, but it's just kind of like, just you do you and I'll do me. Like, that's kind of their, like, I'm not doing drugs or whatever, but just don't bother me. I'm all for that though. Yeah. But now it's getting overrun, and now they're starting to bother people who do. So then the pendulum will swing back. That's just how it is. And it's not a big deal until it becomes a deal.
That's right. Yeah. Everybody, talking about police work. Who's it? Justin Wilson said, everybody wants police work till police work happens sometimes, you know, and conversely, like I just read some article, I think it was San Francisco actually, that the liberal politicians are fed up and want the police to take action for all the stuff that's going on with the feces
on the streets,
homelessness and the drug.
So they finally had enough of it.
Yeah. It's funny.
Well, it's like defund the police. I always say that'll be a great experiment. Go ahead and do it, and then after a while they'll be like, all right, that experiment's over. We want the police back.
But like, if you really look into like what they want to defund, I agree with them. Like, they make the police do way too. I'm not your guidance counselor. I'm not somebody I am the police. Like, you know, let me police. Period. And that's it. Stop making me do all these other jobs. Yeah. And why they do that is they try to give us like a 20-hour course to be like crisis intervention guys.
CIT.
Yeah.
CIT.
And then you save a crap load of money, and then actually having CIT people to deal with these lunatics. You know what I mean? And people that are doing that stuff. So but you just keep adding to the law enforcement officer's plate. Yeah, I want to be defunded. But you're not defunding them because you got to fund something else.
Doing a whole bunch of stuff that's not law enforcement.
Right. It's not law. I'm not a rule enforcement officer. I don't want to do rules. If it's not illegal, I don't want to deal with it. So I agree with them.
Yeah, there's a time we shouldn't even respond. I mean, we shouldn't even be called to a lot of the calls that we get.
Right. Like, think about a traffic crash, a minor traffic crash. Why does a police officer need to go there?
It's all civil.
Right.
The insurance companies need to pay for their own people to respond and write. Unless there is a citation that needs to be written, that's all that needs to happen. Mm-hmm. But they don't, because now we just have all these different responsibilities that keep adding and adding and adding.
Yeah,
because
that's why the CSOs were such a great idea.
Oh, CSOs are amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
But again,
right,
we shouldn't pay for that. And why? Insurance companies need to pay for that.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
or the attorneys.
Yeah,
the ones making all the money off.
Or whoever wants to do this stuff, like they just. So I get it. Defund the police. I don't think. Like the militaristic, like militarizing, I think that's garbage. I mean, no one's militarizing. The only time that someone buys like a big MRAP or something like that is because they get it from Dermo for like $1,000 instead of, because they can't afford to buy a Bearcat for $500,000. Right. But they need an armored vehicle. They don't need if it stops bombs, it stops bullets too. So that's all they're doing. So they're getting a cheap vehicle. Yeah. So they're like, I can't spend that money, so I'm going to spend. But does it look like the military? Yeah, but that's not what they got it for. Right. They got it because it was only.
They're not the Gestapo out there crushing people under their jack boots, while they drive that sweet vehicle around.
Right. They don't want that. Like, it's a terrible vehicle to drive, but it does stop bullets. So,
so it fills a need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, man, you've been very. You're always down to earth about it, talking about it. You kind of blew through your story. I expected it to take a little longer. It was probably shooting, a little more drama. It's just you're just very, very matter of fact about it. But you've probably seen it and done it so many times now that it's just for you. It doesn't resonate like it does with the other public when they hear that and realize, Jesus Christ, he was shot 7 times.
It was a good one. I mean, So. Yeah.
That's a shooting for your ass right there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Literally.
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely one of the most legendary JSO gun battles ever. I'd say between you and Pete, those are the ones.
Well, I mean,
when you're face to face.
Like I'm just happy that I worked with Pete on the SWAT team and stuff before I was shot, and was friends with Pete, and just glad I had an inspiration like Pete. To when I got shot, I could be Pete like. You know what I mean? Like that's the, and hopefully somebody wants to be like Jared when they get shot. Like
absolutely.
that's all it is that's our job as older warriors, is to set an example for the younger generation to come up and hopefully you inspire them.
And that's why, thank God,
You're
you've
very
got
humble about it. That's good to see. That's nice to and to hear that, and you to turn it into something where you can pass that on.
Right. I mean, you kind of had to have that experience so you could create your course, because there's no telling how many officers' lives might be saved because of your course, because of the experience you had.
Oh yeah,
Like, I mean,
things happen for a reason.
Oh yeah, I mean, I get emails twice a year, like, hey man, I was just in this.
Yeah.
This happened, like, and I'm just like, man, that's why I'm here. I feel like it's my duty to give on, to pass on knowledge, so they don't have to go learn it themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm giving you what I've learned, so I can
live through my experience. Yeah.
So I can speed you up, so you're deadlier sooner.
Yeah, and teaching that mindset to stay in the game, that you can take a hit, and it's not like, oh God, it's over. I'm hit.
I remember the Jared Reston quote. We got that down now. The human body is actually unimpressed with bullets.
Yeah, super unimpressed.
Yeah, add that to it. That's phenomenal.
Like that.
But
I like it.
But yeah, I also like taking dirtbags' lives through other people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey man, I was in a shooting, I did this, what you taught me, man, it worked. I put that dirtbag out. I'm like, hell yeah, that's freaking awesome. Let me send you a hat.
Well, we all, guys like us, all have this utopian mindset of cleansing the earth, of ridding the earth of evil and dirtbags and stuff. And you realize once you get in the game that it's impossible. The dirtbags are just going to keep producing, but you want to get rid of as many as you can.
You can thin the herd.
Yeah, it's ideal to think of just you're getting rid of some of them and making the earth a better place, or the world a better place. But yeah, well, if you didn't have police or law enforcement, it'd be overrun with dirtbags, because they would just take over.
Yeah. But I don't know. Sometimes we're hindered. I think good people would do a lot worse. If we didn't have, like
back to the
that's
West.
what some people
go back in the Wild Wild West.
Yeah, like
again. America's built on gunfighting. You go back to that, and you have a kind of a Western, Wild West, or
if there were no police, our houses would still be the wrong houses to come rob.
Right.
Don't break into my house in the middle of the night. It's going to be a big mistake.
It'd be a mob mentality, and it would. Everything would be fine. Yeah. But there would be a lot of bad things happening to not so bad people. Like it just gets out of control. The police keep the good in control, because good can go.
Yeah.
You can do bad things in the name of good.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of how you got it.
You can be the judge, jury, executioner, all in one.
Right.
All in one.
Like people
all in 1 hour,
people want to get rid of us. I'm telling you right now. You don't, because we are the line that's on both sides, keeping people out, but it's also keeping the good from taking the law into their own hands, because people are going to do it. If you come after their property, or you try to come at, like, it's gonna, it'll get bad for them.
That's a whole nother show.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
I'm sitting here thinking,
I'm thinking, like my classes, like my open enrollment classes are probably 30% cops, 70% civilians that can run a damn gun now. Like, no, I wouldn't be like, it's
because they do it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's their hobby. They love it. They do things like America's a gunfighting culture. It is. So don't sleep on them.
Don't sleep on them. You're absolutely right. Man,
love that.
That's a good show, Jared. I appreciate you coming, man.
All right, no problem.
Same here.
A long ways, and I know you came over here on your. I don't know, were you training today? Or were you doing anything? Just chilling?
Nah, I was working at the home office.
Okay, home office. Yeah. I got to do some of that today. I'm gonna go out there and pick my dog up.
All right, good having you, brother.
All right, thank you. Anytime.
It's been a long time for me. You don't probably even remember me, but it was way back.
If anything you want to put out in the future, let us know. We'll get you back in.
Sounds good.
All right, that's it. That's a wrap. Real Jacks with Jim, Larry, and Crawfish. Today's special guest, Jared Reston, former JSO and SWAT officer.
Thank you, bro.
With a great story. And thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.